Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks for having me. So I've been around in e-commerce now for like 10 years. When I started, there was like the impression in the market that it's good enough to innovate on a linear level, that every company that invests enough in tech and strategies and new markets will come out fine, and the market is growing, especially in online, on a level that will help like every online-focused company. And this kind of changed in the last years. I'd like to share like one very important graphic with you from another blogger in Germany, from Jochen Krisch. He created this chart like a year ago to explain actually what is big enough today in horizontal e-commerce, like in e-commerce trading business, to keep up the pace. Like 20 years ago, more or less, in the 2000s, if you were running an online shop, an e-commerce experience with like 20 million, 10, 20 million revenue, you've been like the biggest shot around. Here at like a trade fair like this, you would have been like the mastermind in e-commerce. Like only a couple of years later, it was Zalando setting the mark. Then they grew a lot in 2009, 2010 with a very impressive performance marketing approach. And then the market learned that you have to be like, you should have enough money to be on a level like 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, just to have enough money to finance your online marketing department. And with the IPO of Zalando in 2012-13, it became clear that horizontal e-commerce business must reach at least $1 billion or more in saturated market like online fashions, just to pay the bills, not to earn money. And now we're on a track where even Zalando, with an almost 5 billion all-over revenue, is not big enough anymore. They need to grow desperately to 10 billion, 20 billion to become a platform. Well, that actually leads me to the conclusion that there will be at least a kind of online fashion monopoly in Europe or in the Western market, like the next 5 to 10 years. Might be consisting out of Zalando or ASOS or About You, I don't know. But the market is getting so hard that all the companies that are investing too little in e-commerce experiences, digital experiences, they're losing it. So even like big conglomerates like Peek & Cloppenburg in Germany, investing a little bit money in Graf.com or like former Fashion ID, that's not good enough anymore. Like 5 years ago, it was like a good and fair investment to invest like 5 million in an e-commerce experience. That's not good enough anymore. And we had a lot of like talks, and I started my career at the Otto Group, had a lot of discussions about why is that. And the main reason is that it's not about selling better products anymore in e-commerce. It's only about selling better. Selling better usually means the online experience is better. You have like you have better data to say when your shipment is at your home. You have like better data, but you have better product pictures. You have a better data stream to your inventory management. And selling better usually is 90% software and data. And most companies around, even at this conference here, they don't have a clue about tech and data. That's changed a lot, and the main impression is driven, of course, by the growth of Amazon. I don't know how familiar we are here in this room with the Amazon momentum in the market. So Amazon is like now on a trajectory of somewhere between 200 and 300 billion dollar in overall revenue in 2017. Just to understand this, every day, it's almost every day 1 billion in revenue, including the marketplace revenue. And this means that per day, they are growing right now $200 million compared to the same day last year, every day. When I started my career in e-commerce, like having an online shop with like 100 million was big enough. Now we have like one big player, not particularly like fashion focused, but there's a lot of fashion revenue in there, who is growing on a global level 200 million every day, every fucking day. In Germany, that means 10 to 20 million in growth per day. So every day in Germany, a small inner city is dying. That is actually the market environment we are in right now. And this creates, of course, the learning that it's not good enough anymore to just present an e-commerce strategy 2025, yeah, where your goal is to achieve like 50 million or 100. That's not good enough anymore. And It is proven. The market has proven it. So there's like a very famous chart going around the market where Otto and Amazon have been compared, and the green sentences you're seeing here, that's like the internal stuff going around in the Amazon and Otto management when it came to how good is Amazon in real. And of course, when Amazon was small, they say, okay, it's a small bookseller from Seattle. When it became important in Germany, it was like a financial snowball system, almost tipping over. And when they became really big, it was not, they're not focused on fashion, and we are still into fashion. Same with Zalando. It's kind of financial scheme, tipping over. So it's not good enough anymore. So this leads me, of course, what I said before, we're going to see a fashion retail monopoly online in 2030 in the European market. I'm pretty sure. And why? Monopolies earn money. And the main driving force behind this market here, which we're seeing online, is money. It's investors' money. And there will be a monopoly. I'm totally serious with that. And now it's getting harder and harder for new companies to keep up. So most fashion companies, so if they're going on around here at the stands, they're still focused on standard e-commerce experience. They're still focused on desktops. Yeah, desktops was a thing when 10 years ago, when you relaunched your e-commerce website or your online website, it was all about, will the new online shop or the new fashion website will look nicely in an Internet Explorer or in a Firefox? Like between 2007 and 2012, it was all about mobile first versus desktop first. Should we have like a native mobile app? Should we have a hybrid mobile app? Now, within like last 2 or 3 years, there have been new interfaces introduced, like voice, augmented reality, and other interfaces. And all the skills that had been learned here in the first phases of e-commerce are more or less useless in this phase over there. So companies that are heading now in the desktop market or mobile market are already struggling with finding developers for the existing problems. They are now in a very, very, very hard to in a position very hard to defend. Why? Because they need to compete with companies like Zalando and About You, and they are structured in a totally different way. They are structured in a way where it's all around IT and data. I had like another presentation where I'm talking about transformation, and then usually I'm showing them this picture here and say, okay, in like the old Peek and Kloppenburg-like companies, you have like you have a board of managers or board of directors, where you have like one director responsible for the purchasing department, one marketing director, one logistics, and then there's one manager. He's called like the manager of HR and IT. Yeah, there's usually there's some kind of CIO involved, and he's responsible for the web experience. And in the Zalando, About You, other companies kind of style, or ASOS, you have like a very, very focused management team around tech and data. And then there's usually 1 or 2 management directors responsible for purchasing, marketing, and logistics. So it's like really turned upside down. It's the other way around, and you're now in a situation where you haven't really started with hiring developers, product managers, QA engineers, all the other stuff, and you're in a situation where you compete with the Zalando guys. The main learning here is not that you're not able to do it as a company, or that the old companies are not able to do it. The learning here is that companies that are able to adapt faster, they win. And in a market environment where it's all about like adapting the new interfaces, adapting the ability of selling your stuff on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, the companies that are able to handle their data faster, their software faster than other companies, they win. But still, which is not true, is that if you're now focusing all your capabilities on influencer stuff and fancy stuff, that's not going to help you. The most companies I'm seeing, and we are having a lot of discussion with management board, is that you need to structure your business in that way. You need to be in 100% control of your operations and logistics and HR of your data. So everything must be in a proper place. You must know where your merchandise is. then you need a very, very strong software and IT and data department. And on top, if everything is fine, you can accelerate your growth and your success by fancy stuff like influencer and artificial intelligence, or künstliche Intelligenz, like in German. The reality, what we are seeing now in board of director meetings when we're discussing like e-commerce is this. Most of them don't have a clue about where the merchandise is because they're relying on, like, I don't know, some outsourced logistics centers, some outsourced merchandise provider. They usually don't have anybody really responsible for software and data. In Germany, they usually have the EDV-Verantwortlicher, which is like a guy who was managing SAP and network systems for the last 20 years. And they are now doing all the fancy stuff, pushing money in your industry, but it's not going to help them. That's not going to help them at all. And this leads to a very interesting situation that you have like big companies like H&M begging you not to order here. That was a situation in the summer at H&M because they kind of fucked up their IT environment and they were not able to ship out merchandise. Say, OK, it takes like 2 weeks from now, maybe, before you're getting your data. Please don't order here. Go in our shop. That is incredible. Because Ole told me that I only have like 10 minutes to discuss all the stuff and and we should have some time to discuss some questions. I'm going to do like a deep dive in the masterclass right after this speech here. And everybody who's interested in more like e-commerce strategy stuff, platform economy, can get like a free book of this e-commerce book. It's a best-selling book in Europe about e-commerce at the Spryker stand right behind this masterclass here. But essentially, you only need to remember there's like 2 choices now in this market here when it comes to innovation. There's like can you remember the situation in the Matrix, the movie, when Morpheus was giving Neo the chance? You could either take the red pill, and you're going to wake up tomorrow in the Matrix again, and everything is fine. Forget e-commerce, like forget online. Or you can take the blue pill, and you stay here, and I only can show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. That's the situation actually you are in.
Thank you very much. And Alex, you are Morpheus in this whole.
I don't know.
Okay, but that makes you Keanu Reeves, which is also cool. Now, one question. You said that you bet that there will be a monopoly in the fashion industry by 2030.
Yeah.
In terms of user interface, how would that monopoly look like? Would that be like an Amazon for fashion, where you would get all price levels of fashion goods? Or
no, I don't think so. So where we're heading right now is that customers are getting their very, very curated experience of like fashion merchandise. You're only getting the stuff you needed. You maybe are heading into an environment where you're getting even an kind of a lease option for your fashion. They get like a new trouser every 2 weeks, new shirts for whatever you want every second month. And that's, I don't know the interfaces that's going to be in control for this exchange of merchandise. Could be desktop, could be mobile, could be messenger. But there's going to be definitely one main infrastructure provider behind it, the Amazon of fashion, so to say, who's controlling all the customer data.
So yeah, that's what I thought. So, and you think then that all other businesses more or less will be integrated into that operational system?
Yeah, have to, because all the other systems. So let's say there's like a really, really cool experience when it comes to like fashion consumption, or just in my case, I wouldn't call this fashion, but let's say in the trouser consumption. I would expect then the new provider of the new trouser to be available through the new system. Might be a messenger commerce stuff, might be something, a smart storage system at my home. Who knows, or which knows what kind of stuff I'm using, and what frequency I'm using the stuff, what kind of usage and Abgetragenheit is there per trouser. Yeah, and I would expect any new manufacturer being available to the system. So you see this as Amazon. So when you go to Amazon, you're not searching for Fissler frying pan anymore. The brand doesn't matter. You're searching for frying pan cheap or frying pan fish. And the one of the first 3 to 5 results with enough stars and with enough good ratings. That's something you buy, and that's going to be the same in fashion, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but I have a question, because I found your lecture really interesting and insightful. But if you say that you bet that there's a monopoly in 2030, but now you offer us a blue and a red pill.
Yeah.
And let's assume we take the pill that lets us see the matrix, but we know the end game is already lost. Why should we take the pill?
Yeah, you could ask. You have the same situation like Keanu Reeves in the movie. So at least with the blue pill was the one when you're still seeing the matrix. At least you have the ability to change stuff and to keep up with the pace, and maybe there comes like an opportunity for you and your business to be like first in the race for like a specific vertical for a specific business. And with the red pill, you wouldn't have been able to actually seize opportunity or to seize its opportunities.
Thank you very much, Alex.